Motor outdoors, here we come. Motor outdoors,
Likely.
So, all right. Scott came up with this idea, and Seth does 20 questions, so I thought maybe we'll try it out with this new video thing. So it's called the Trespasser. We have someone on the line, as everyone can see, it says the Trespasser. None of these guys know who he is or what we're talking about. So, with that being said, Trespasser, go ahead and show who you are, and you can unmute yourself. If it'll work.
Well, camera doesn't work.
Hey!
Would you look at that?
It's Trevor.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Trevor?
What's up? How's it going?
Living the dream. Been
Yeah,
on Turkey
I got a really weird glare here because of where the light is in my office. So it's, I don't know, I got to make some adjustments. There we go. All right.
Yeah, I got a glare too. It's
Dude.
Oh, God, it got really bad.
Cory, you weren't wrong. You weren't wrong.
You didn't have your hat on before.
No, I did not. No. And I had text Mac. I said, shit, I got to go grab that. And I'll be honest, I couldn't remember if it was in the closet or if it was still in a box from the move.
Yeah.
I just don't wear hats as much anymore.
So it's Trevor, fan favorite. Talked about turkey last year. And I think the topic we're going to talk about, as I talked to Trevor a little bit about it last night, is kind of why it got me thinking. Is he just bought a black lab last fall? So I think it's a good time to tell some funny stories about dogs and how big of a pain in the ass they can be. And I can go first.
You should.
This spring, you know how we put a ton of work into the front yard, but all this nice mulch and all this brand new edging and all this. Well, now the snow melted and Ruff has got literally digging it out and kicking it into the fucking yard and eating it.
Nice.
So
I got wood chips in the entrance to my house. So half of it's sidewalk, half of it's like a little planter area. Em's like, oh, I want cedar wood chips. Like, no, I want rock. Zero maintenance with rock, right? You spray it with weeds. You don't have to do anything. Nope, she wanted wood chips. Fine, whatever. Well, guess what's all over the yard? Because my stupid dog can't stay out of the wood chips. So half my yard is wood chips. I hate it. Bugs the crap out of me.
Consider yourself lucky.
Yeah, Mac, I think that.
Margaret had a
Go.
I would dig rocks up, and when you'd hit them with a lawnmower, and they'd take off knocking parts of siding out. Be glad you stuff.
That's true.
is it just me or is Scott cutting out?
Yeah,
Oh,
I got the vast majority of it though.
Oh, you did? That's weird.
Yeah.
Because
I
I
think
heard
when he
rocks and lawnmower.
It was something about his first gay experience. There was a dog there. But that's about all I got.
Second sets.
So can if we walk on each other, does it if someone talks over me, I'm pretty sure I talked over Seth and talked over Mac, and that's okay. So I don't think it's a walking over thing.
No, it's all new, so we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Just trial and error. Scott's got really good organization for his garage, it looks like.
Yeah.
For anyone.
I
Anyways.
Is that
I
really
you
part of my
flip the camera around, Scott.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Well, you guys can't see me?
I thought he was the tech guy.
That's what I was just gonna say. He's the IT guy.
Yeah. Don't you run an IT company?
Yeah,
Mac,
it's an IT company, not a cell phone company.
Mac, I showed my wife the picture of your dog kicking all the mulch and shit out, and I think we got talked out of mulch. At least to a point. At least to a point. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I told Mariah that. I said we're taking all that mulch out and we're putting rock in.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with that again.
Yeah, so we have 1,000 square feet of dirt. So we bought this house in December. And so obviously, we looked at it back at the end of October. And so I didn't remember how much dirt was exposed around like the front yard, but it's probably 1,000 square feet of dirt that they cut out the lawn and they were going to put in a garden. And then over the last year, they just kind of gave up. And so like there's some erosion going on. And so as the snow melted, I'd see my project get bigger and bigger. And I'm just sitting there shaking my head like, God damn it. Right. And so the dog's been tearing that up. And then there's a small rock bed surrounding 2 trees right out the front door. So she'll grab rocks and try and bring them inside.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And it's like, what the hell's going on here? But yeah, that picture alone of your dog with all those wood chips spread out from the yard. And I'm just like, we just spent like $100 with Delano lacrosse team or whatever. They showed up at the perfect time doing their fundraising. And so we ordered a bunch of mulch for them. And now I'm like, son of a bitch. I can't return it, you know, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, they just like, he likes eating it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Rem does too. She chews it up. She every stick she can pull, every piece of mulch she can grab that, you know, used to be there, she grabs it and chews it up into little pieces. And
my dog's so dumb. She doesn't eat them. She just chews the crap out of them. So like she'll take branches and make wood chips out of them.
Yeah.
That's almost worse because now I got to clean that up.
Yep. Yep. Like our place, it's kind of like it's got like an L-shaped deal around what would be the west side and the back of just random growth, and it's probably mostly leaf cover. But like every stick and twig and branch that's tried to grow over the years, she'll walk by and grab it and just shred it. And it's like, what are we doing here? You're just creating a mess.
Yeah.
Gotta love them.
Yep.
Well, like I think I said it before, Ruff must have heard Seth talk about Cash because all winter he'd go out there and he'd be chewing on something. And I'm like, what are you chewing on? And then finally he came in the house and he had like 4 big turds he dropped on the floor. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He loved it. He'd go and he'd dig in the snow to find the pile of shit from before.
Yeah.
My dog's a lot of things, but she's not a shit eater. So.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah, Cash is. He's
just give you a big old shit lick right on the face. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that's the worst is when like because we've got towels by every door, so whenever we let Cash in, we'll wipe his feet down every time. And you can always tell, like he'll come in and you can always tell when he found one because he comes in and he's always a little slow to come back. And when he comes in, he's like, and it's just licking his lips and it smells just like shit.
Oh.
You're like, you mother effer, you fricker. He hasn't chewed anything like that he shouldn't other than eating dog crap. And this spring, he hasn't gotten in too much trouble. He ran into the swamp as soon as it thawed out. So that was fun. But I think the biggest thing he did as far as being a goon the last few weeks is, 2 weeks ago, we had 2 feet of snow on the ground, right? So when I let him out, he could, he's a tall dog, but he could barely get through it. It was so deep. Well, the other day I let him out and all the neighbor kids were out running and they started screaming his name and he just takes off running for him. And I don't know if he was that excited or if he just wasn't used to the snow not being there to slow him down, but he knocked 2 of them over like a bowling pin. Just, freaking plowed right into him. And I thought for sure one of them was hurt. And Cash looked like he was embarrassed and I was embarrassed and it was pretty funny. So,
yeah, the reason why we're talking about it is because everyone's got dogs or has had dogs. And they just, I don't think people realize, like, they're a lot of fucking work. Like, it's so funny. Like, now you guys have put me in a picture with kids. Well, he's in the same stage for a long time. But dogs, by the time they're 3, they're like teenagers and they just don't give a shit. And they just keep going and going and going. And you can never catch up to, okay, they're going to start doing this. And then they start doing something else. And then they don't fucking listen. And it's just like constant battle every day on stupid shit.
At least you don't talk back. Scott can probably speak.
Mine does. She found her voice. And so, like, we bought this place. We moved in on December 15th. And my dumbass poured gasoline on a fire. And we went and got an 8-week-old black lab 2 days later. So we moved in on Thursday and we got her on Saturday. Like, how dumb was that? But she found her voice like that. And like Mac, I was telling you, I'll be sitting in the office doing work or doing nothing. you know, and she'll just walk up to me and just start barking. It'll be like, hey, go do something. And it's just like, rah, 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 and she just has to keep going. Once she found her voice, it's like, I'm going to talk back to you every chance I can. Now, obviously, it's barking, not like swearing, you know, but it's like she knows she's talking back to us.
Dude, I
Screw you,
cannot.
Dad, I'm gonna go find some strange.
What's that?
He said, "Screw you, Dad. I'm gonna go find some strange." At least they're not saying stuff like that.
Yeah.
Getting knocked up and shit.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Oh, here's a question. When do you guys think it's appropriate to get a dog fixed?
I think it depends on the breed. Like when I talked to the vet, it was 6 months to a year. Was kind of the range. They didn't really recommend 6 months, but they said basically like a year is a good time. But then like male dogs, if you do it too soon, you kind of cut off some of that potential testosterone building and like muscle mass kind of a thing. So
Right.
I think a year is adequate.
Yeah.
Give or take, kind of depending on what you're thinking. Like I got her fixed at like 9 months, and she's none of her relatives were petite, but she's not that big. So
I got Cash fixed at a year, and he's always been kind of a fairly mellow dog, anyways. But a year seemed about the right time. Like he never got bully on me or bullish, and he's still a wild beast. I mean, look at that guy.
yeah.
I mean, he's
Careful.
a deadly animal.
How do you handle that?
Yeah.
Elite training. I've taught him to sleep 23 hours a day. It's working.
Do you have a
Isn't that
podcast?
weird?
Do you have a
What's that?
podcast with instructions on how to do that? Because mine doesn't.
Yeah, I'll give you the 3 biggest pointers right now. Listen close. Hope you guys got all that clear. Hopefully I didn't break up at all. So
Well, and then it's a whole different thing. We got like Corey's got a golden retriever. Us 3, Trevor, Seth, and I, we have black labs. And Scott, you've always adopted. And you had what, a beagle last time?
That beagle. Yeah.
a bagel.
So super
Where's that
excited.
Funny.
I don't.
Yeah.
So
God.
I've heard beagles just wanna, like, you got to have space for them to run because they just have so much energy, and if you don't like run them or give them space, they'll just tear the shit out of your house.
I think it's
When Chill was young, that was the kid got older. He'd walk in the living room and like to make noises until I'd get out of the spot. And even earlier, he used to come upstairs, get Margaret out of bed in the morning, and then he'd just head on her pillow, grunt at me until I pulled the plug. It was not a runner. Chill, weird dog. But we adopted. He wasn't fixed yet. To answer that question, started humping the kid's
Can you
head,
guys hear him?
so we had to.
Can you guys
Brian,
hear
good
Scott?
call.
We got to do something about your audio. Like
I didn't-
your video is
AirPods off.
basically perfect, but like it runs in like 3-second increments.
Oh.
We'll hear it for 3 seconds straight, and then it'll cut out, and then 3 seconds.
Hang on. Let me. Ooh.
It's like he's a ventriloquist.
I was trying to get the word of what it was like.
I got the
and
gist
I
of the
could not
story.
come up with it.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is that better? Not better?
I can hear you so far. There's no breaking up.
Say like a paragraph.
Smegma is a cheesy space
Nope.
substance.
Definitely not better.
Penis. No? No breaking up?
part that came through was not penis.
I was gonna say, did anybody get anything
That's all
other
you got
than
was
penis out of that?
Yeah, something about circumcised penis.
I'm glad that
All right.
that's the only part that came through.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It's totally worth it.
I think he's going to get a penis. I don't know
I
where
don't
you're
know
at.
what he's doing, but anyways, what's I don't know what are some challenges? Like Trevor, you said you didn't realize how much of work a dog is. Like, what are
Yeah, I mean, penis yells from across the garage. So it had been a long time since I had a dog, and it'd been even longer since I had a puppy. The last puppy I had was a Siberian Husky, and that was I was 17 years old, so it's 20 years since I've had a puppy. And it's been since 2008 since I had a dog. And so I forgot how much damn work a dog is. It's the constant attention, the constant wondering, what they're doing, trying to provide enough stimulation to keep her going, because if you don't, then RIP to your shit, because she's going to find a way to stay stimulated, right? She's going to find something to do. And I mean, she's just shy of 6 months old now, but we've got north of $200 worth of chew toys on my living room floor right now. But if it gets too quiet out there, I know she's chewing on a sandal, a shoe, a slipper. The kitchen towel has been her favorite. Like, she'll sneak into the kitchen. And then the kitchen and dining room is right out this way. And I'll just see a bolt of black lightning go by with a white towel drag. Oh no, she got bored. And she'll sneak into the kitchen like, I'm so innocent, I'm not doing anything wrong. And then it'll just be a flash pass. And it's like, yeah, you're doing something, So I really forgot how much work a puppy is, and bless my wife. Like, I think I said to you, Mac, like, damn, this is more difficult than raising my kid, and my wife, I give her all the credit when Aiden was really young. I've got an 11-year-old son, but holy shit, this dog's way more work than raising a kid. The kid couldn't run out of the yard at 3 months old,
Right.
But yeah, it's been a blast, but she definitely has her moments. Seth, you're talking about Cash eating poop. So it's funny because this was an appropriate dinner time conversation this evening. We're sitting at the table, my wife and my kid and I are talking, and I saw something online. It was either like an Instagram reel or something, and somebody with a big old Great Dane or Pit Bull or Rottweiler. I don't remember the breed of dog. I just remember seeing it, and it had one of those cage muzzles right on.
Yep.
And the quote was like, my neighbors are terrified of my dog because when I let him outside, I always have this muzzle on him, right? And then it cuts to like this big ass dog with a goofy ass grin on its face with the muzzle on, and the quote turns to, it's not because he bites, it's because he eats his own shit. And my wife's like, we're gonna have to put one of those on Remy if she doesn't start dragging or doesn't stop dragging in rocks and sticks and shredding up the landscaping, because like I said, we just moved in, so we don't even know what is all on this west side of the house, if it's just garbage or if they had plants there that we want to keep. Right. That whole conversation stemmed because so I took her on a walk, and we've got some 2 acres of public land right behind us, and then it's like a walking trail that gets you into town, and then it's 15 acres of public land and swamp. And so I figured, you know what? You've got a ton of energy. Let's go for a walk. And so I took her out through the public land down to the swamp walking trail, and we're walking, and her nose is going crazy. And I'm like, yes, this is awesome because we've had pheasants coming into the backyard. And I'm like, great. Hopefully she's getting on scent. Hopefully, the $15 worth of frozen pheasant wings I bought is like paying off. Well, and I've got her on a 6-foot leash, so she doesn't have a very long line, but she kind of sticks her nose into something. And I'm like, cool, she's smelling these pheasants that are walking around. She turns around, pops her head out. No, she's got a mouse And I'm like, God damn it, this dog's eating a dead mouse. And this is like the 5th time in 2 weeks as the snow melted, she's found a dead mouse. So I don't know what's worse, the dog eating piles of shit or the dog eating a dead mouse. I think it's a pretty dead run.
I can't stop
I'd
laughing
probably
because
take the
Scott
mouse.
came back on, and all I see is penis.
I was too busy listening to my own voice. I didn't catch that. That's awesome.
Hi, penis. Nice to meet you.
Does it work?
Yeah, it's a lot
Yeah.
better.
Is it better?
That's way better. The quality is better
Yeah.
too.
Oh, wow. Fucking A.
I mean,
The picture's terrible, but the audio is great.
Better? Is that better?
No,
I'm sure you have
so-
penis, you son of a bitch.
I got one the other day. I was sitting upstairs, and we have it's like a fan. It's not like a recliner. It's just a chair you sit in. And Ruff comes up, and he's walking in front of me, and then all of a sudden, it's like he thought in his head, like, I'm gonna jump up on the chair, but then realized halfway through that he's not supposed to be on furniture. So he did like a parkour from like The Office. He jumped up on the left side of the arm, went straight up, and then hit my shoulder and pushed off. And then he flew down the stairs. And Mariah looks at me and goes, "Parkour!" What the fuck was that?
So you don't let the dogs on the furniture, Mac?
No.
What kind of a fucking human being are you?
Okay, so here's the story. When I had
She's got a memory foam bed. She's not going without.
Yeah, so no, here's the difference. So we used to have Rev and Riley on the furniture all the time, and then I got Ruff, and I'm like, Ruff's a completely different dog than the other two. Like, I want him to be like a hunting house dog, hunting first, which I try, which isn't very successful. And so he goes in his kennel every night. He stays in his kennel. I got him a cot, so he's on his cot for place. And I just got so tired of it because, like, with black labs, you can't see the hair. But with Riley and the yellow lab, you can see the hair everywhere. Everywhere you pick up a blanket, there's yellow hair. So I told Mariah, I was like, we bought this new couch. I don't want them on the furniture because they're going to ruin it. I don't want hair on the furniture. And like Riley will come up on our bed, but then she'll be on the bed for like 2 seconds and she'll lay on the floor. So I'm just putting a kibosh to furniture in general.
So, but it's probably not a lack of hair. It's just the perception of hair, right? Like,
well, no,
it's still there with a black lab. Like, if you had white carpet, you probably know that you have black lab.
You wouldn't see it. I'm telling you, unless you're laying on the floor.
Yeah, I agree with Trevor. You see it everywhere.
Like Remy's going through that stage of getting rid of puppy hair. And like for the last 4 months, I've been like, dude, we have no dog hair in this house. And within the last 2 weeks, I'm like, did we get 10 more dogs?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And like with Riley, she's 4 years old. So she's got a lot more hair than Ruff. So there's a lot more of it. You have to, like, we got the Furminator brush.
Yep.
Which is fucking awesome. You can brush them, then it's got like a little thing you push on it and all the hair falls off. But you could sit out there for 3 hours a day and you're not going to get all that freaking hair off.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I was like, she still goes on the furniture because that's the way it's always been. But I don't like Ruff on furniture because he's a 9-month-old dog. Eventually, he's going to rip something up.
I used to have a couch down in the basement. I would let Cash down. I would let Cash on the couch that I had in the basement, but nothing upstairs. And dude, when you took the cushions off that couch, the amount of hair that was down in the corners of that freaking thing was unbelievable. Like, so I don't think it's worth having him on the furniture if you get him a little puppy bed or a little place to go to place or stay or whatever. So yeah, it's nice.
My folks never really wanted dogs on the couch. Like my dad was like me, where like if my mom went to bed, he can come on, our dog can come on the couch. But my parents weren't good about cleaning up either. So like the floor would just be full of hair, and we always had like yellow lab. So like if you had a black shirt, you can never wear a black shirt in my house and like be anywhere because you just be covered in dog hair.
Yeah.
And I guess I just associated that to then they can't be on the furniture, because if they're gonna be on the furniture, then it's gonna be all over me. But like hers is light. Like I feel like every time we watch a lab, their hair just like, not that it sticks to everything, because hers sticks to a lot of stuff too, but like hers is light. So usually, like if you walk by, like it makes like little tumbleweeds, and then you just go by with a vacuum, and you're like, "Wah," and you just kind of suck up the tumbleweeds, and you're
Oh, funny.
How often do you guys vacuum? I vacuum like twice a week,
oh,
and that thing is fucking full.
Yeah.
once to twice a week. When she's shedding, though, 2-3 times a week, because then it's obnoxious. And like she started. Here's the messed up thing about my retarded dog. She sheds like October, November into January. Or sorry, October, November, December. But like, wouldn't you shed in the summer when it's hot? Nope. Not my dumb dog. She's gonna start shedding here pretty quick coming into summer, which makes sense. But like then she sheds in the fall, coming into winter, and then she's got this thin coat for winter.
What the heck?
Now, it's pretty thick now, but it just doesn't make sense. I don't know. Or, yeah, this is dumb.
Yeah, so we have mostly hardwood floors, and so I guess, and it's so Remy's so young that I haven't noticed it. But I when I was younger, we had German Shepherds, we had Dobermans, we had Labs, we had a Basset Hound, Huskies, and I just remember like the Huskies were the worst for sure. Across the board, the Huskies were the worst.
Really?
Like, if you really need a workout, buy a Siberian Husky because you're going to spend the next 10 years chasing that son of a bitch down the road because it's always going to get out. Like we had an invisible fence, and it was like no matter what, like Mac, you and I are talking about the prongs on the collar. It didn't matter what that setting was. It didn't matter the prongs we put on it. We had 2 Huskies, both of them got out.
Oh
and it was like every day you're chasing that thing down the road. And we lived, 4 blocks from like Shakopee Police Department when I was in high school, and animal control was right there. And I still can't believe that animal control never got our dog. It was always like some neighbor that would find one of the Huskies like on its deathbed panting in their front yard.
Oh my gosh.
And we'd be like walking down the road and it'd be like, well, there's Riley or there's Kenai. And they'd be like, oh yeah, I just came home and he's been laying here and he hasn't moved. And I figured he needed water. And I'm like, yeah, that's because he's been running, full speed for the last 2 hours. But like, so when we were younger, like, different gamut of dogs, I noticed it. I haven't noticed it a ton with Remy, but I mean, we sweep the upstairs and mop it once a week. And, the only places we have carpet to vacuum is the 2 bedrooms, the office, and then the stairs going down to the basement. So I haven't noticed it a ton. The furniture, we vacuum that. I mean, I vacuum the futon here in the office, and we do the furniture out in the living room and then downstairs. And like to your point, Mac, when we moved in, the original plan was to put our old sofa and love seat downstairs. And it weighs like 3,000 pounds because they're both recliners, and then they've got the fold down entertainment deal. And like we get it to the top of the stairs to go down, and my dad kind of is looking at it, and he looks at me and my brother-in-law and looks at the doorway, at the bottom of the stairs, and then looks at us and he goes, I don't think that's going to fit. You might want to measure it before you commit to hauling that thing downstairs. So we measure it, and it is 2 inches shy. I'm like, well, this is staying upstairs now. And so we spent a good chunk of change on new furniture for downstairs. And Remy doesn't like the basement much, so I don't worry about it much. But like when we moved in, when we got the dog, my wife and I were like, yeah, no dogs on the couch. That's the rule. Boom, done. Sticking to our guns. We're not having the dog on the couch. And we picked her up at like 11 a.m. on that Saturday. And I'm sure it was like 12:15. I'm sitting on the couch with that dog on my lap, and my wife walked past and goes, that lasted pretty long, huh? And I was like, we're done. Dog can be on the couch. It is what it is. So thankfully she doesn't spend much time downstairs, but like she'll push the limits. Like she knows she's got to behave. But she'll run downstairs at, 200 miles an hour and jump from halfway across the family room down there and land on the food. I don't know. I can't remember what the fancy word are. What's the word?
Davenport?
No, you put your feet up on it. It came with
Well, the ottoman.
Ottoman, there we go. Right on the face. So like springboard that thing, you know, and then just go face first into the couch, and she'll get her little rambunctious. And like today, my kid's sitting on the sofa upstairs on his phone, probably playing Pokemon Go. And I'm throwing the ball for Remy in the living room. I kind of get a, idea, and Aiden's not paying attention. So I chuck the ball over him onto the couch, and she goes, just full speed. And like you said, parkour, right? Yeah. She hit him square in the chest with her feet, because after the ball hit the sofa, it bounced back. She used him as a springboard to springboard off of him to go catch the ball. And it was the funniest thing ever, because it damn near knocked him over.
Well, like, Scott, what were you saying before when you were cutting out every 3 seconds about?
He said uncircumcised penis.
On a pillow, right?
I thought that. What do you mean?
Well, with Chili, you were telling a story and we couldn't hear what it was. Something about a blanket.
I haven't had a dog in a while. You guys all have like hunting dogs. You guys all have like big dogs. I had a cat dog basically. Chill own the house, and he shed everywhere, and like twice a year it was too cold outside, so we'd always shit in Ian's room. So once a year I had to go to Menards and buy carpet and take the whole thing in the basement and cut it to the exact shape and put it in, and I just got used to doing that. And
Holy cow.
I would walk into the living room and he'd just look at me and like I knew I had to get off the couch. It was his spot. And so I'd move, and I got him a heated blanket at one point, so that was definitely his spot. I had a cat dog. Like I didn't have like it's gonna go and get the bird after I shoot it dog. It had to get the fuck out of my spot dog.
Well, and then like when I think I was 21, we went to your house and we were drinking gimlets.
Yeah, I don't think you were 21 yet, but anyway.
Statute of limitations is passed.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Passed. Anyways, I went over there and we're drinking.
At least we weren't at an Indian casino in northern Wisconsin about to get fucking arrested by the police. Anyway, go on with your story.
That's for a different time. But like we had a game feed. You had like a bunch of pheasants, and like we had this big game feed at your house, and we were eating all this game meat, and then we had a bunch of gimlets, and I had way too much to drink. So Scott, I was like, I'm going to bed. And Scott's like, no, we're going to Taco Bell. And I was like, no,
yes,
I'm going to bed. He's like, we're going to Taco Bell. And then he looks at me straight in the face. He goes, you're going to go out in the backyard. You're going to fucking throw up. Then you're going to get in the Jeep. And then we're going to go to Taco Bell.
And you're going to be a man. And
You did. I mean,
and that's what I did.
see, the weird thing about that, because I know where you're going with the story about Chill making a shrine with your puke, but the weird thing is we went to Taco Bell Friday night, and then we went again Saturday night, and both times we shouldn't have been driving.
Oh god!
Taco Bell to go, right? Yeah.
Sunday, Margaret came out and she's like, did you drive to Taco Bell last night? And I was like, well, we went on Friday night. And she's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, did that work? and so she let us off the hook. And then like 10 minutes later, she's like, what is Chili doing in the backyard? And I'm like, I don't know. What do you mean? And Chill's like laying in this spot and like peeing in this spot and like all about the spot. And I go out there and there's just this big pile of elk and gimlet puke.
Oh.
And Chill has created a shrine to it, like shit circles around it, to separate out what a fabulous moment it must have been for him. And so, yeah, my dog liked your alcohol.
Well, then, did you guys have a daycare too? And he'd lay in that spot, and then any kid that would come by, he'd sit and fucking growl.
I wouldn't growl. Chill never growled at anything, but he was pretty protective of the puke spot. It was quite a while, actually. Your puke spot really set something apart for him.
Lasting impression.
Yeah.
I told you today, Chill would crack peanuts open. You'd throw him full shell peanuts, and he'd hold the sides with his paws and like use his teeth and crack the peanut open, and then eat the peanuts. Fucking weirdo.
My dog would just eat the whole thing in one bite, wouldn't even chew it.
Right?
Yeah, she'd just swallow the whole peanut like more.
Like all of us do. Like shit.
Right. Oh, that's funny, man.
I remember when I first got Rev and Chili was, I don't know, 5 or 4. And Rev was just a little puppy. He's like 8 weeks old. And Chili, we were playing like basketball at Grandpa's house. And all of a sudden, like Rev did something. And Chili started attacking him. So what did Scott and I, the first thing thought to do was to throw the basketball at him to get him to move away. Well, when we threw the basketballs, we were so far off. Like, we started laughing.
You're drinking. It's not my fault. I was drinking. See, what I remember is you first got Rev, and you were probably late high school age. I don't know when you got Rev.
I was 18.
18. So, and you were like, we're going to race. And we're like, we're going to go down the street here, and you and me, we're going to race. And so these 2 fat guys go down the street with a dog to fucking have a foot race. And you and I are running, and you're going to disagree with this, but I think I had you. I think I was going to win. And your fucking dog jumped between my legs, and I go barreling down the fucking road. Like you trained him to fucking do that.
He's my boy. Oh, fuck.
And then he peed on my laptop bag. Your fucking dog peed on my
Did he really?
Yeah, I had to buy a new one when I got home.
But I haven't forgot about it.
I still got it, and I'm going to leave it at your house someday. Like a dead fish under the seat.
Did he pee on your laptop? Maybe that's why your speaker wasn't working.
That was my no. That
God, talking about piss and stuff. So anybody else's dog so enshrined with something at a given time that they just say F it and just piss right where they're laying?
No,
No.
that does not happen. No,
Dude.
Nope.
Remy's done it 3 times now. So the first 2 times were bully sticks, where she gets so absorbed in chewing on the bully stick that she's like, this is more important. And she's not allowed to have that kind of stuff on furniture. I can't do it. And so both times she's been laying in her bed with the bully stick, and then also with the Kong, right? With the treat stuff inside.
Yep.
And she actually took to house training, potty training pretty quick. She's had accidents here and there, puppy stuff. So not the end of the world, but overall she did really well with it, especially early on, like 10 weeks old time. Like she'd go sit at the front door and kind of look back at you and give you that look and a little whine, like, I got to piss. But like with the bully stick and with the Kong, if she's laying on her bed chewing on that, she just lets loose right there. Like, like a drunk person in a pool, like, and like, I swear at least once a week we're washing her dog beds because we gave her a Kong and she was like, you know what? This is more important. I'm going to pee right here. It was crazy too, because the first time it happened, it was with bully sticks. Both times she pissed on the first bed. So then we pulled the one out of her kennel, and then she pissed on that. And it was the exact week our washing machine broke.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Nasty.
So
dude.
it was like, what are we going to do now? So bag up the beds, take them. I think we took them to my mother-in-law's to wash them. But it was like, this is a real bad week for you to be pissing on your bed because you're too lazy to walk to the door.
What's looking like when he did the podcast with Shane right now? You okay?
Me?
Yeah. You look like you're just like.
You look like you put the
You look
on
like
your
you're
chair.
just gonna go to bed.
No, I had a thought. What's the most embarrassing thing you've experienced around a dog? I'm relatively certain I'm going to win this, but I just want to see what everybody else is going to say.
Please tell me it's a story about she came up and licked your nuts when you're going to
No.
So the most embarrassing dog the most embarrassing thing that my dog's done? Is that the question?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay.
Or like been a part of related to your dog.
I guess for me, boy, I don't know. Probably the most embarrassing thing is the fact that he's such a wuss because freaking Mac's brother had this little Jack Russell Terrier.
No,
And my dog outweighs him by 100 and I don't know. Cash is 75 pounds. That dog was like 10. And that little dog just ran around humping the F out of Cash. And Cash just looked ashamed, like, "Oh, I'm not gonna stop him. Just have your way, buddy." Like, so that was kind of
It was
embarrassing.
only
He
a
didn't
shame
stand
that you
up
were
for himself.
watching. If you weren't there, he would have loved it.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
And like in the
Too
super
scared.
yeah, neighbors got a cat, and freaking the cat hated Cash, right? And Cash just wants to be buddies with everybody. Well, here's this cat. Cash starts walking up to it, and the cat starts hissing and slashing at him. So Cash turns around and takes off running, and the cat's chasing him, right? And like Cash is like, oh frick, and then he starts to slow down, like, oh, I'm sure he's not chasing me anymore. And Cash looks behind him, and the cat's right there. And Cash just like paralyzed, falls on the ground with his legs in the air, like, oh god, like,
Well, the old fainting goat.
yeah,
huh?
the old
Yeah.
goat trick, yeah, exactly. So that's how he's embarrassed me, just being a wuss.
Dude, I forgot about the Jimmy story because you just got Cash. He was pretty young.
Yeah, he was still pretty young, but he was
was bigger.
well over 50 pounds.
Old
Yeah.
enough to not embarrass me.
Well, and then Jimmy's sitting there humping the hell out of Cash. And it was so bad that like Jimmy, it looked like he was gonna have a stroke because he was panting so bad. And then his thing was hanging down, and they kicked him out of the shed. And then it had like a service door, and it had a little lip like that tall. So like all of a sudden, Mitch is like, "Get out of here!" He kicked Jimmy out, and he's running. All he heard is his fucking dog hit the
His
bottom
dick right on the basement door.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Red Rocket got redder.
oh god, that was so fucking funny. Oh.
Yeah, that was good.
What about you, Mac?
I don't know. Go ahead, Mac.
I don't really have like super embarrassing stories. The worst is like I hate it when dogs are barking all the time. Like if you're like when we had the lake day, like and Ruff's sitting in his kennel and he's just freaking barking away. Like that's embarrassing to me. I haven't had any stories like you guys.
Sure.
That is barking or eating dog shit, and like the neighbors can see it. Like that, it drives me nuts. But I don't have anything like super crazy.
She goes ape shit when people show up, and that's embarrassing. But it gets way worse than that for me.
Oh
But
gosh.
like she just can't contain herself when someone just.
Oh yeah.
And then she whines, and then she lays on her back and just wants you to pet her, and that's embarrassing. She's such a spaz.
Dog stuff.
I don't have like a super embarrassing one, but I have one that was super awkward. And so this was when I was in high school when we had the second Siberian Husky. So not even Remy's been overall fairly good. I don't have anything super embarrassing with her. I mean, she felt embarrassed today, but I didn't. I laughed. But the more awkward one was when I was in high school, Riley, our second Siberian Husky, got out and he ran about 3 miles west. Of our place in Shakopee. I couldn't find him. I searched for like hours. And then this red car pulls up to my place and like I got like real nervous. And the girl I just broke up with's dad gets out of the car. And I knew it was his car, right? That's why I got nervous. He had a red Cutlass. And he opens the back door and there's my dog. And we had literally just broken up.
Oh.
Well, he was driving down the road and the dog ran out in front of him and he almost hit it. So he looks at the tag and goes, I guess I'll bring you home. He didn't put 2 and 2 together until he pulled up.
Oh,
Super fucking awkward.
awkward, dude. Awkward.
Not embarrassing, but very awkward. Remy today, so I had to take Remy in. We went out to the Buffalo vet. She had a weird lump on her front leg, starting to get irritated. And Mac, have you been to that vet out there? Or has anybody been to that Delano or Buffalo Companion vet out there?
No.
All right. So they have this glass foyer that you walk into before you actually enter the facility. So we go in, we get checked out. She's good. It's benign. It happens. Cool. Here's your $200 out the door. Awesome. So as we're leaving, it's all glass encased, right? And I open the door and walk out, and I got Remy on the leash. She's not paying attention because Cory, same deal. She's all amped up because there's people around. She turns around and walks square into the glass panel, and it was like a gong went off in there. Everybody inside whips their head around like I bounced her off the glass. I'm like, I didn't do anything. She's just kind of being dumb, but it was so loud because she just skull smashed that glass window, and it was just like gong, and I'm like, you idiot. Well, she got this look on her face like that was fucking dumb, and I was like, yeah, that was fucking dumb. Pay attention. But I wasn't embarrassed. I laughed. So
have you had him go through your screen door yet? Your patio door?
no.
Oh.
No, she tried because we got that 3-season porch out back, and she tested the water once. Like I was going out to throw something on the grill, and I shut the screen door behind me, and she was moving at a decent clip and just kind of bounced. And that was probably, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, right after I just got a grill. And she just kind of, folded into it and then kind of shook it off. But I'm sure at some point we're going to have to replace that screen door because she's going to go through it at 100 miles an hour.
Oh yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen.
So I'm gonna outdo you guys. So when she was young, she was only a couple months old. She was having a hard time getting potty trained, and like I did like what any good dog owner would do every time she'd have an accident, just beat the piss out of her. Like, God damn it, he's still pissing in the house. And then finally I'm like, okay, like what's the deal? Because she would like stand by the door and then like go. So I brought her to bed. She had like a UTI or something, right? And then I felt like just a piece of garbage. I'm just being hard on her. She can't even help it, right? Well, then we had to get these drops. So I had to douche my female dog with these drops, right? And you couldn't just like sprinkle it on there, right? Like you had to and then like work it in. Yeah, so
you win.
Twice a day, twice she'd hold her legs and I'd get in there and I'd douche my dog. It was terrible. And then
you win, Cory.
I can't make this up. She was kind of getting out of the eating stuff phase, and we were at her friend Dane's, and like we were just up there for like an adults weekend, and Seth and Jackie and Em and myself, I think someone else like, hey, let's just go on a walk. I'm like, sure, I'll bring the dog with, it'll be fine. And she kind of starts like has this weird like little giddy up in her walk. I'm like, oh, she's got poop. She's gonna take a poop. And she tries pooping, and then like you can see her tail up in the air, and then she's kind of doing like this little flick with her tail, like she couldn't get the turd to fall out. And it's just kind of like sitting there hanging. I was like, oh no, I bet that sock she just ate. So I had those doggy poop bags. So I put one of those on, and I reach up, I grab her tail, and I start pulling on the turd. I'm not joking. 2 feet later, I pulled it. Turd rope out of my God. The most disgusting thing was like, oh, it's just gonna be like this knot at the end. Nope, just like
you're like a magician, still pulling the eyes out of the hat.
It's so disgusting. And then like 2 weeks later, it might have been a little while later, but she was like, I know she was licking herself a lot, but like she was eating a lot of hair, and you could kind of see it in her poop. And we went on a walk with her. And same deal. Tail starts bobbing. I'm like, oh shit. And Em's like, you're gonna go grab your shit again. I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm gonna. Same deal. Had to pull the turd out of her butthole. So yeah. My dog has embarrassed the crap out of me on 3 different occasions.
Hey,
Scott, you got any embarrassing stories from Taylor or Chili or any of that?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow the shit clown. Yeah. The most embarrassing thing was the night of Seth's shit torpedo in the hot tub. That podcast, whatever episode that is, when my dad watched the kids for the first time and shit. Because Chill would shit whenever he'd get excited. So like the kids would get a tennis ball and just throw it back and forth, and he'd get so excited he'd just stop and shit right there, no matter where it was. And he did that at my parents, and the kid grabbed it, and another kid threw up. And listen to the episode. It's
I think it's called The Tale of Two Poops.
Yeah, there you go. That was probably the Chill didn't really embarrass much. Maybe I let that dog run the house, so maybe the most embarrassing thing is what a little bitch I was about that dog. But
yeah. Well, I think we'll wrap up the podcast there. With Border Outdoors, I'm Mac.
I'm Seth.
I'm Scott.
Cory.
Trevor.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks for listening to the Border Outdoors podcast. Follow us on Instagram and be sure to join, follow, and share the Border Outdoors Facebook community page. Also, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Spotify, Apple, or whatever podcast hosting site you listen to. Tune in next week, see what we're talking about, and make sure to get out there and make your own memories.
Hunting and fishing, singing and kissing, here we come. So grab your guns, grab your lines, and here we come.